was a dark and stormy night, nor'easter rolling in. It's a long 12 hours, the power's out again. I pray for inner strength and that we don't lose no lives. Just another day in the first responders' eyes. Half a cup of coffee's gone, the first run comes in. A car slid off the road, there's a family trapped within. My heart beats like a hammer, I can barely catch my breath. I'm thinking the worst and hoping for the best. Yeah, we ain't superheroes, we're just ordinary people trying to make a difference, and the first on every scene. It's a heavy, heavy burden to carry all this burden when you can't unsee the things you've seen. It keeps going on when those sirens are gone.
Welcome to Making a Difference Wednesday on the Mad Radio Show, live from the Fishbowl. We are broadcasting you from Globe Life Park, the entertainment district of Arlington, Texas. Welcome, Sam. Glad to have you back on this fine Wednesday, July 15th.
Great to be here. Lots to talk about today.
Man, July 15th. Tax day.
Hello. If you guys just went, oh, bleep, yeah, you still got until, what is it, midnight, right?
Midnight,
so
midnight.
6 hours.
But you know what?
Listen,
Listen, my personal opinion is do not pay your taxes until we figure out what's going on with COVID because, hey, we may not have to pay our taxes. We may not be around. I would say go buy a TV.
Okay.
Nice
we're gonna go with what John just said.
Yes.
Everybody just go out and buy a TV because I'm sure people need another TV. They're not
that's
getting
right.
enough of the TV that they already have.
Or
in
you could
their
just wait for the
homes.
looting to start again and save money.
Oh,
No, I'm
my
just kidding. I'm
gosh.
just kidding.
Yeah.
You know, we've been talking about this. It seems like forever, and we try to touch on this topic all the time. With, you know, really, please try to support our Blue family at our and support our law enforcement. They are out there doing really a thankless job over the last couple of months. But I do want to give a big shout out to you know, our law enforcement's number one fan, man, and that's got to be Savannah Solis,
Oh,
right?
she's amazing. Savannah and her family.
Yes.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, and if you guys are listening, they, you know, she's 16 years old, and any 16-year-old who she's now got her non-for-profit that's going to be coming up in October. She just finished her book, her first book, which is entitled "She Believed She Could." So she did. So she did. And she has been all over the country. She has written over 12,000 handwritten thank you cards. She has met with over 120,000 students across the nation. She has met the Queen of England. She's been in Buckingham Palace. And any kid who will take their summer vacation and say, Mom, Dad, I want to travel to 10 states to make 36 states covered, just to say thank you to the police officers. And Savannah did just that. Starting on July 6th of this month, she has traveled with her family to Wyoming, Utah, Idaho, Oregon, Spokane, Washington, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Omaha, and Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Wow.
Making it so far 36 states that she has visited in the last 5.5 years. She has started this campaign, You Matter to Me, when she was 10 years old, when 2 New York City police officers were assassinated in their patrol car. It had an impact on Savannah, and since then she has been nonstop thanking our officers.
Yeah, she is absolutely amazing for you know, when she started like 10,
Yes,
as you said.
she's
I mean,
16
for a child
now.
to have that connection with law enforcement and just having the wherewithal, and she is amazing. I mean,
She's an
just
inspiration to a generation.
She really is, and to see all of the pictures that have been shared on Facebook, she brought tears to a lot of the eyes of law enforcement, because it's tough out there right now, and to have a 16-year-old,
I know.
Forget the 20-somethings. I think we need to just
Write them off.
yeah. To have a 16-year-old come in and show her support and the love and the care, and to let them know that they have communities that love and care and support, just like our community right here at Mad Radio.
Yes.
But not only us, but everybody that we bring on to the show
Correct.
has a heart for service. And this week is no exception.
And, you transition right into that.
I know. Getting good at this
You
thing.
are.
Today on the show, we have Alexa Parker from Combined Arms. Alexa is a native Texan and proud Texas A&M University graduate.
Welcome.
She lives in Fort Worth, where she is serving as the Dallas-Fort Worth Regional Manager for Combined Arms. We're going to find out more about that organization in a second. Because before she moved to Fort Worth, she worked in Austin to engage and educate legislators and key stakeholders of the work that Combined Arms is doing to serve transitioning military members. She's also worked in public policy at both the Texas State Capitol during the 2019 session and the U.S. Capitol in 2017. Boy, you must have stories there, because I know I have stories. Being at that U.S. Capitol. She is excited to continue working to serve veterans in their transition to civilian life. And she brings together many organizations doing great work to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Welcome,
Yes,
Alexa,
welcome,
to
Alexa.
the studio.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
It is so, this has been what, like months in the making here with all this
Yes.
COVID stuff, throwing a wrench in everything. We met kind of virtually, but we were waiting for a long time to get a Combined Arms office up here in the DFW. I first had my experience in meeting everybody at Combined Arms in Houston. Would you call Houston like the mothership?
Yes. So,
Okay.
we kind of throw the term Mother Houston around. Headquarters is in Houston, whatever you want to call it. That's where
HQ,
we
okay.
originated. Yes,
Yeah.
HQ.
And let me tell you something. You walk in to HQ and you are surrounded by the most generous, giving human beings that you can imagine. Everybody is a VSO or connected to a VSO in service in some way, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And their main focus is to make sure the veterans don't get lost don't slip through the cracks. And we do a walk the bridge the 22nd of every month to bring awareness to that number 22 is still up there for veterans that are taking their lives by suicide, as well as the epidemic of suicide in law enforcement, which I think we're up to 91.
91.
And so Combined Arms, it's got to be tough right now having to do everything virtually, because the connection that you feel
Absolutely.
when you're in an office with you guys is so powerful.
Right.
Let's talk about Combined Arms.
Sure.
And how we expanded up here. Finally!
Yeah.
The DFW! I love it!
Absolutely. Yeah. You described it perfectly. As soon as you walk into Combined Arms, we're a collaborative organization of over 70 nonprofits, state agencies, federal agencies. The VA is on board in Houston, which has been fantastic. And like you said, in Houston, when you walk in, you just feel that camaraderie, you feel that community immediately. There are about 15 to 17 organizations that are actually housed in the Transition Center in Houston. And then the others obviously can all kind of collaborate in that space. We have a gym at the facility in Houston. We have conference rooms. So it's really a great collaborative space. And it has worked really well for transitioning service members and their families to get connected to resources. And especially as we grew in Houston, it was really great seeing this model of organizations coming together and collaborating and being able to share their resources with multiple clients. So we typically see clients coming to us for one resource, and then they realize we have all these other organizations.
You know, and that's something that is so needed in this time. When we look at, because when we deal with a lot of our veterans, when we do walk the bridge, we have them way back to the Vietnam era, and some from World War II that are still around. And when transition is such a powerful word because it's so important, that proper transition from military life to civilian life, it's almost like retiring as a police officer or law enforcement, going from law enforcement back to civilian life plays mental tricks on you.
We talk about that a lot. It is a tough transition. There's a lot of crossover between the transition with law enforcement as well as military. And you've got, if you were, look at Travis Howes, Marine to police officer and now current firefighter. So, there is so much crossover out there, and the awareness I hope, look, we have our core audience that tunes in every week. We love you guys, but keep spreading the word, because if folks that aren't connected to resources that need to get connected to resources, that's where we come in. That's what we do here. Right. Because we don't want anybody to get lost, especially in the transition. At Travis Manion Foundation, we talk about, that meaning, relationship and engagement. Okay. So when you transition, you lose pretty much all of that. And the more you stay away from that connection, right, it can create drastic effects. And so that's what Combined Arms, certainly, with TMF being involved in and having an office in Combined Arms in HQ, that's what they bring back. So who doesn't want more meaning, engagement, and relationship? Right.
And with all the resources you have, Alexa, I'm sure you hear this probably 1,000 times a day, that servicemen and women that are coming home go, oh, I'm entitled to that? Oh, I could get that? Oh, that's for me?
Absolutely.
How many times do people miss what they're owed, or the resources that are out there?
Yeah, absolutely. All the time. And then, once they do find those resources, it's helping them navigate them to the best organizations that are serving those veterans and their families, and which organizations they qualify for too, because a lot of these organizations have qualifying factors. Right. And so kind of helping them weed through all of that. And
it's confusing.
Right, exactly. Confusing. And so we cut through that confusion and guide them to the right organizations that can assist them. And we're happy to have Travis Manion Foundation as one of our really fantastic partners as well.
Now, let me ask something, because like I said, talking to a lot of veterans, when they leave, and we've had veterans in here that said, yep, they gave me, here's my papers, get out, see ya, and then they walk to their front door. Is the military service saying, go to one of these transition spots? When you leave, go see Combined Arms. Go there and talk to them. Are they at least doing that for our servicemen?
That's something that we're working on, and we're working on those relationships and really trying to catch people before they even transition, so that they're aware of the resources available to them. Right. Of course, there are a lot of transition programs out there, but we're working every day to break down those barriers, if you will, and spread the word even more so that people are aware of us.
Now, I want to bring up something that I think is vitally important, is that one of the things that is so awesome about Combined Arms is you vet the nonprofits that are in our
collaborative.
There you go. Thank you. I was looking for the word, in the collaborative space.
That's so important.
Did we not talk about vetting?
Yes,
vetting when getting for help last week? With Our Watch. You gotta vet, and it's got to go through the whole process to make sure that the folks are actually being served. So talk about that process, and again, why it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. So we vet all of our nonprofits through a model built by KPMG. They built this kind of checklist, if you will, of items that are really important to know about a nonprofit. And, we look at everything from financials to social media, any kind of skeletons that might be in the closet. We can find those out, and that's good to know so that we know we're referring veterans to the best of the best organizations that do what they say they're doing. And then another piece of that is the accountability. So all of our organizations are held to a maximum 96-hour response time to ensure that nobody's falling through the cracks. If they don't respond, they're getting referred to another organization so that they do get that resource.
That's important. And when you vetting, the vetting process, and when you say financials and everything else, do you guys do like a quick audit or make sure?
Look at the 990s.
It's not a quick audit.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
No,
and our board of directors also votes on them at the end to kind of onboard them and wrap up that process.
Because there are so many, and we couldn't stress this enough, there are so many non-for-profits out there that are, I don't want to use the word illegitimate.
Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors, right. Yeah. That, they feel that they become a non-for-profit, but then they don't have the passion, they don't have the accountability, and people slip through the cracks. So that's why it is so important to make sure we vet that you go to a service that's vetted. Yeah. That has been investigated, that you stand behind, that you're going to put your stamp on to.
Right. Absolutely.
Not just somebody off Facebook saying, "Oh, well, I'm going to use them."
Right. Exactly. It's not time to just sit down and Google. That's what I love about Combined Arms, because I if somebody asks, I said, "Oh, you need to check out Combined Arms. Let me help you get in contact." And we're going to talk about the amazing new app here in a second. I want to talk about the need to have an office in the DFW, because we have been waiting for you all for so long.
We got a lot of veterans here.
My gosh. Yes. So talk about that.
Yeah. So we recently received some support to begin expanding our resources and expanding our network, being able to provide more resources. And that's really, expanding this collaborative, bringing on new member organizations and helping our chapter leaders like Sam, who are here in DFW, whereas her counterpart in Houston might be working with us. She might not have known about us. Right. And so we're, bringing those folks on here in DFW and bringing on new member organizations that can fill those gaps that are providing resources that maybe our national or statewide organizations aren't providing. And of course, there are a lot of really great veteran serving nonprofits here in the DFW area. And, we identified this as a really big veteran population, like you said. And so we're here to start serving veterans here. And then we are also serving Austin and El Paso now as well.
Now, because like I said, I'm not a veteran. So when a person gets discharged from the service, right? They did their career's done. They did 4 years or whatever. They come right to you, right?
Yes.
They just now say I was out of the service for a while, but you know what? I'm just not fitting right into society or getting back to civilian life. I can just walk through your doors and say, "Hey, can you help me with this? Here's my problem."
Right. Yeah. Right? Absolutely. You can walk through our doors. You can find us online. A lot of folks end up hearing about us just through word of mouth, through, their buddy used us and they got services and they said, "Hey, you need to check out Combined Arms. These are the organizations that they work with. These are the services that I got." They can come to us through another organization too. So if Sam's working with somebody at Travis Manion Foundation and she finds out they need additional support, she can direct them into Combined Arms to get connected.
That's awesome. And because a lot of service men and women probably do not know that these resources are available to them.
Right. So you want to hear the cool thing?
Yeah, I do. I want to hear the cool thing, Sam.
The cool thing is that you now can be anywhere, and let's say you're having a conversation with a veteran who says, "I'd like to explore my mental health."
Okay.
Or I'd like to.
Very dramatic.
I'd like to. It's like, okay, well let's back it up. I got issues. I need some help. Or hey, I need to try and buy a house. Or I need to get this stupid thing from the VA. Let's just break it down that way.
Okay.
I can go. you know what? I can help you with that. And I can go on my phone and I can go tap, because Combined Arms has an app.
With all the
Alexa,
resources.
explain the app.
Oh,
Yes, so we now have a Combined Arms mobile app, and our community leaders, our volunteers, our member organizations, those that want to get involved with Combined Arms, anybody who knows veterans and would have a need for this, they can do our mobile app training and utilize our app to refer veterans. So you need an email address of the individual, their name and their zip code, and you can refer them to any of the resources within our system. And then it's being broken down by region too. So it has all of the qualifiers on there, like I was mentioning earlier. And it, you can say career placement, I need comprehensive job services, and here are all the organizations you can refer this individual to.
so with that being said, all right, so now I have a veteran, say, having a mental health issue, right? And then I go on to the Combined Arms app,
Yes.
right? And I would search for what? Mental health programs, treatment center.
So with that, you may actually refer them directly to our intake team. Our intake team really handles those high priority needs. So mental
Okay.
health,
I was
homelessness,
trying to, all right, so I
financial.
was trying to bypass
Yeah.
you for a second. All right, so
So you click on the app and you're going to enter their
You're going to enter their contact information.
right, so I want to send them for a resource for
mental health.
no, because that goes
Let's say
directly
a job. They're
a
looking
job,
for a
right?
job. That's a
Job.
really
If going to be for a job, I'm going to.
yeah.
Do you get emails because that 96-hour thing?
Right.
Because that's what I'm like. So now I put their name, their zip code, and the whole bit, and then you guys do a follow up.
Great question. So it's the same process as if the veteran did the reach out themselves through our website.
Right.
So that 96-hour time clock starts ticking because the email goes directly to that organization after I hit link them up.
Right.
And then it also sends an email to the veteran saying, you've been connected, and why don't you now also go on the Combined Arms website and complete a full profile, go through all the assessments so you can find the resources that you qualify for.
Now, say for some reason, even the vetted, because we know vetted resources sometimes can go out of business, can drop the ball. It happens. So say we sent them to a job and they didn't respond to him within the 96 hours.
Let's say they got sick. The
Or
person
they
on
got
the
sick.
other end.
Yeah, okay. Then the next step would be you guys would call the veteran.
So we would speak with the organization and let them know that we are going to route that veteran to another organization that they qualify
during your
for.
follow-up.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. And so that veteran is still going to get that career placement resource that they were looking
Right.
for, but now it's just going to be another organization that's taking over
That's
that case.
awesome.
And honestly, that's a very, very low amount of times that's happening. That really
Yeah.
doesn't happen much with our organizations, which is great, but we have it there as kind of a backup.
No, because we know between law enforcement and veterans, these guys are impatient. They get frustrated, and and they'll give up. And I like the fact that you follow up, and I like the fact that you'll reroute them to another resource. And we just had this happen with a paramedic in Houston, actually, or around Houston, and
Not a veteran.
she was a paramedic.
Because
and
my brain was going. That was the first thing I asked you. Oh, does she happen to be a veteran?
yeah.
I've got an app here. I can refer her real quick.
Exactly.
No,
exactly.
she was. I think she was only 24 years old.
Yeah.
But 3 different failures. Actually, 4 different
4.
failures. She was on the verge of committing suicide. 4 different failures. I'm surprised we didn't lose her. And then she finally got us, which we got her with a good vetted surface, who's still working with them.
Yeah.
And thank God she's still alive she's still with us today. But that's the importance of it, and because there's so many failures, and we don't
Right.
that's where we
Statistics
lose
show
people.
the
That's
more
where we lose people.
roadblocks that you come up against, the higher the likelihood that you will take your own life.
Right. And for veterans and law enforcement, we like things easy. We like that one-stop shop.
I think it has to do with, the way that we're taught to function. I mean, when we're in hypervigilance all the time, and we're now trying to do a function that is not job related. We want it to be easy because we don't want to have to figure that one out too.
Right.
So
exactly.
that's why I absolutely love this resource. So if you are a volunteer that does a lot of volunteer work with veterans, if you run a VSO, if you know, well, I'm going to let you say it. Who are the kinds of people that you want to reach out? Because I'm going to put the link up here to reach out to you.
Sure.
To get some training on the app. There is training on the app. It's super easy, but you're going to want to go through it. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. So we call those folks our community leaders, and those are people that are engaged in the veteran community or, kind of have like a passion for that, or even folks that already work for a VSO like Sam, that are constantly in contact with veterans or even military spouses, anybody that could be connected to a veteran. And those are the folks that, typically use our mobile app because they're in contact with them all the time. And whenever we're allowed to do in-person events again, we tend to call on our community leaders and request them to be at events and assist at things like that as well. Or they can just be EchoLink users. That's what we call our referrals. It's called EchoLink. And they can refer individuals that way too.
See, I see this as vital in so many organizations like law enforcement, where I don't know if it would be like the PIO's office or who would be involved there. So if you're an officer, if you're listening or you're retired and you still have connections to your department, this app is great because we have so many first responders that are veterans.
Right. But
and this is applicable.
Yes,
it
absolutely.
also sounds that Combined Arms runs the app correctly.
Yes.
Because an app is only good if it's run right, and you guys don't seem like you dropped the ball.
Right.
I love that 96-hour follow up.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't have that in place, and people get lost in the system. So I think that's invaluable service that you guys are providing. And if we could get something like that for law enforcement, where they're not going to drop the ball, you get an organization that can do that. That will save many lives. With Combined Arms, and I've heard that the VA hospital, you hear horror stories, but I also heard in the last few years the VA hospital has actually stepped up their game and have become better equipped. They've had better personnel. They're not as bad as they used to be 5 years ago. What's your relationship with the VA hospitals on medical care?
Yeah, so in these new areas in Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, and El Paso, those relationships are still being worked out. In Houston, as I mentioned earlier, the VA is on our platform there. We have an MOU with the VA, which is a Memorandum of Understanding.
Okay.
So they're held to the same 96-hour maximum response time to clients, and we do the same kind of follow-up with them. So they have been fantastic partners in Houston, and it's really been good for the VA and for Combined Arms and for our clients. It's been a win for everybody.
Yeah, I've heard the VA has, like I said, really upped their game. There's still some horror stories here and there, but not as many as you used to hear. And I'm glad to see that they're working with you.
Absolutely, yeah.
That.
We love having them as a partner.
What are some of the other resources that you offer for our veterans?
Sure. So in total, we have a little over 400 resources as we, lay them out from every organization. Like I said, we have over 70 nonprofits and agencies that we work with. Some of the top ones would be career services, your interviewing, resume writing, career placement. Social life is a big thing. So getting that connectivity again, especially when someone's transitioning to a new area, trying to find their tribe. Those are really good
So you'd
resources.
hook them up with the Travis Manion Foundation. Here are like-minded people
Absolutely.
Okay.
So volunteer services also kind of tends to fall in that area. Like you mentioned earlier, mental health resources, financial assistance, homelessness assistance, pretty much you name it, and we've got an organization that provides it. So
that's amazing.
Absolutely.
How many years has Combined Arms been in existence?
Yeah, so we've been around since 2015.
Wow.
And then, really.
You're babies.
I know, 400. I mean, that's
I know.
like.
I
Yeah.
was thinking the same thing. I'm going, well, 5 years, they got all those resources. I can't wait to see where they're going to be in another 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
It's going to be an invaluable.
I can't wait till you're able to like walk in the door of an office.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is it, speaking about that, do you feel that you're like with the COVID, I mean, everything's virtual now.
Mm-hmm.
Is it harder to connect?
I would, in some ways, yes. Of course, it is really great when we can have those in-person events. We have all kinds of community groups. So we have, the Veterans in Energy, Christian veterans groups, LGBTQ veteran groups that meet. Every so often they do lunches or coffees. And so, it hasn't been fun having to do those kind of things virtually. But we have had really good attendance on virtual events, and we've been able to pivot really quickly and shift things online. So it's been great. But of course, coming to these new markets, it's hard to get the word out whenever you're not able to meet people in person.
Right,
but
right.
we're pivoting and doing that. So
Now, you're located in Dallas or Fort Worth?
I live in Fort Worth.
Right.
We don't have an office here
Yet.
quite yet.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The one's in Houston.
It's in the works, something here, and for now it's just me here from Combined Arms. I'm the staff member for Combined Arms here in DFW, and eventually, of course, we would like to have a big transition center like Houston.
Right.
But that's down the road for now.
So a veteran here, if they needed resources, they would come to you, and it would just be like a kind of meeting thing.
They could come to me. They could find us via the website. They can find us via social media.
They wouldn't have to travel to Houston.
No, absolutely
Okay,
not.
okay,
No,
yeah.
everything we do can really be done online. Some people, of course, like meeting in person, and
Right.
that's fine. But everything we do can be done online as far as those referrals.
That's a beautiful thing. Hey,
Yeah.
so we're in Arlington, and we have the Medal of Honor Museum that's gonna be built here, and a lot of cool veteran stuff going on here. So this might be a perfect area. Hey, if you're listening and
Yes.
like landlords or building management, or let's get the show on the road here and get Combined Arms built out, because
Yes.
I got to tell you, like I said, being down at HQ, to put the same thing here, it's just an incredible experience.
I bet. It sounds it. Now, I don't want to blindside you or anything.
Okay.
Your average amount of veterans you service per year or a month, how many come in and out?
It's been growing quite a bit year over year. So I'll tell you, for 2019, it was just over 7,000 veterans. And then the connections that we made. So typically people are requesting anywhere from 2 to 3, maybe 4 different resources. And so we connected people to about 20,000 resources last year.
So you have repeat customers. You have repeat.
Well, it might be some coming back, but those 7,000 received, maybe 3 resources each. And so that
Okay.
would be
That's
3 per person. So about 20,000 connections for those.
And that was just for 2019.
2019, yes.
2019.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you're only 3 years, almost three
About
and a half,
4 years, yeah.
old.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, this is something that.
You see why I love these folks?
Yeah, I mean,
They got their numbers down. They know.
Yeah.
They
You-
vet. Yeah.
you just need more veterans, because we have so many veterans that are in need that aren't getting the services because they're going to the
And that's
non-vetted
why
ones.
Alexa's up here
Right.
at the DFW.
And
Absolutely.
you see the homeless vets, you see the jobless vets, you see vets working jobs that they didn't even have that wasn't even in their MOS when they were in the service. So this is, like I said, it's invaluable. It's invaluable, and I can't wait to see what 2020 brings for you, and after COVID,
Yes.
and how we can help.
Absolutely.
How can we help?
Well, first let's start by how do people reach you? And I'm going to put this on the page right now.
Yeah, so they can go to www.combinedarms.us, and that has everything you could ever wish for and maybe a little more.
A Ferrari.
So yeah, there you go. People can create a profile there. That's where veterans go on and create a profile to navigate those resources. You can see some of our partners listed on there. You can contact people off of our website. So there's
Could they download the app from that website?
No, so our app is downloaded after folks are trained and they
Oh, okay.
sign an agreement with us, for privacy reasons using
Got it.
people's information.
Oh,
Right,
right.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Privacy.
Okay,
That's,
yep,
we'll talk
okay.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So combinedarms.us is the best way. And even if folks, like I said, are in Austin or El Paso as well, we have those regional managers listed on our website too, and they can reach out that way.
So a big thing that we talk about in especially the mental health arena is that confidentiality. And I know because I did the training that is huge, that is big. And so talk about how the veterans information will never be compromised.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything is kept secure. Whenever veterans are making that referral to an organization themselves, so they're saying, hey, I want to work with you, and that is tracked within our
Right.
system. Everything is safe. We utilize Salesforce as our technology platform, and so everything in Salesforce is safe, sustainable, secured, and scalable too, which is really important as we serve DFW and beyond. So, and like I said, with the app, everybody that's using it has signed the agreement saying that they will keep data private, and
Now you say you serve DFW, but really it's all of Texas, right? Can you be a veteran anywhere in Texas?
absolutely, yeah. I mean, as long as we have an organization that can provide a resource to you, you can
Right, so
utilize us.
I just got finished my deployment. I live in Wichita Falls,
Absolutely.
and I hear about Combined Arms. I contact you or a representative, and I'll drive. I'll meet you, or so I could still use the resources of Combined Arms,
Of course.
even if I live in Lubbock.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. And like I said, a lot of our organizations are national or are statewide. And they've shifted to online platforms as well. And so they're
Right.
able to serve people still, even during COVID.
Oh, and that's just like what we did with the paramedic. We
Right.
found out where she was, and we used the resource in that area. So yeah,
Yeah.
So if you want to be a community member who wants to use the app,
Community leader.
community
yeah.
leader
Mhm.
app, same thing, go to combinedarms.us.
They can reach out to me if they're in the DFW area. They can reach out to me, and we can get them set up for training. It kind of depends on what level of that they're wanting to use the system. So, if somebody's going to be a little more involved, we typically send them to our community leader training, which is with one of my colleagues, and it's a little more in depth. Gives you a lot of the background on Combined Arms, so you can talk. And those are a lot of our volunteers that are going to be at events, so that they can talk to folks and kind of explain what Combined Arms is and how we're serving our veterans.
Sure. And so how would you want somebody to contact you?
Sure. They can reach out to me via email. It's aparker@combinedarms.us.
Parker@combinedarms.us. Okay.
Yes.
Now this is not a non-for-profit. This is a non-for-profit, right?
Yes.
Okay. So for those we say this all the time, non-for-profits rely on fundraising events, donations, to make them sustainable, so they can keep providing these services for our veterans. Right. So you rely on donations to keep the doors open, to build a new DFW,
Yes.
home for our veterans. So if somebody was out there and said, like Jerry Jones was sitting there in AT&T Stadium right across the street and said, I wanted to donate $100,000 to Combined Arms, how would they do that?
Same thing on the website, combinedarms.us, and they can go to the donate
Just go to
tab.
the donate tab.
Yep, and they can fill out their information and how much they want to donate. or they can go to the Contact Us tab on the website, and there's different types of forms that they can fill out based on the kind of donation they'd like to do.
So every little bit helps. $5, $10, $20. Reoccurring donations always are good because then they can count on that money for the next fundraising event. Volunteering.
Volunteering,
Yes.
for sure. And does Combined Arms receive funding from, like, big corporations?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We have a lot of really great corporate partners that have supported us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome
Now,
to
have
hear.
you seen with COVID, of course, any 501c3, any non-for-profit in this COVID world right now is hurting. Because you can't do your annual galas or your fundraisers or your any events to raise money. Has it hurt you guys a lot?
Luckily for us, we have a really great development team who has been watching over us and, was kind of preparing for this as it was ramping up. And so we've been really fortunate in that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's because we know a lot of non-for-profits are hurting.
Well, there's also a lot of the non-for-profits that rely on, they have to do face-to-face for
Yes.
whatever is in their bylaws and stuff like that. So obviously,
Yeah.
that would have an effect. And
How about some of your resources?
Yeah,
Your
so I was going to say we have, now that you mentioned that, we have some organizations who are grant funded, but luckily a lot of obviously foundations have noticed that there's this thing going on called COVID-19, and so they've switched those grant funding requirements to just kind of general operating expenses so that they don't fall off, so that they can keep providing their programs and they don't have to host those in-person events. They can shift them virtually and kind of pivot as needed.
It's a juggling act.
Absolutely.
It's definitely a juggling act.
well, that's very helpful that they let them pivot, because a lot of when you're doing a grant, it's super specific.
Very specific.
So, well, I'm glad that the grant companies, I don't know what they're called, but they see that we're in a different time now, and that the level of service needed to pivot, not the type of service, just the level of it, what it looks like,
Right.
and that they allowed that to occur.
Yeah.
Really, because there's lots of things going on right now that is forcing people into you got to either go this way or
Right.
you got to go this way.
See,
and when you need to go down the middle, that doesn't work.
And the people that are suffering right now really are our veterans, especially the ones that don't know what to do, where to go, who to turn to, because a lot of resources are not available.
Right.
At this
right
point.
there. Right.
At this
Exactly.
point. So, if you see right now a veteran or a veteran that's either battling or having some financial issues or just looking for some structure, and maybe the VA is overloaded, maybe they can't help them right now, call Combined Arms and let them navigate through those waters that you're having such a hard time navigating
Right.
through.
And even the stuff that the veteran might not be thinking about, like putting a new resume together, or needing help
Resume writing, right.
Yes.
with housing. We think about veterans, we think about the homeless situation, we think about suicide, but we don't think about the everyday kinds of things that veterans would have access to and assistance with through Combined Arms. And I do mean like everyday stuff. You do not
about,
have
like,
to be in crisis
How about food banks?
to pick up the phone.
Food banks?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Food service?
that was one of our top requested needs during, especially at the kind of beginning and height of COVID. And on a regular basis, and I think now we're kind of seeing this trend back towards this, the number one requested need by far and away is career services and job placement for veterans.
Which is even harder now because a lot of people aren't even hiring right now.
Right.
Everybody's in the
Exactly.
process of laying off.
I know.
Which makes it even tougher.
Well, this
Makes
has
it even
been
tougher.
absolutely fantastic.
Always has. Always is.
I can't say enough good things about Combined Arms. I put the website out here and also how to reach Alexa. directly.
I have one of those
if you want to
Alexas.
get.
I don't know if she can do it.
Alexa. And yeah, so like I said, you don't have to be a veteran in crisis. If you are a veteran in crisis, please reach out. But if you are just looking for some support, if you're looking for that all important meaning, engagement, relationship, building that back up again, get in touch with Combined Arms.
Yes.
And yeah, thank you so much
Absolutely.
Yes,
for
thank
coming
you.
in today.
Thank you so
And,
much for having me.
Yeah, you bet. And for sure we'll be in touch again soon. John.
Yep. Hey, well, just funny story on that Alexa thing. I have Alexa and I have Google in my house.
That's not good.
No, it's not, because when you start yelling at Alexa and it's the Google one, I'm like, it's not working. My wife's like, because that's Alexa.
Does
not
Google stick up for Alexa when you're yelling at her?
No.
That's a good question. No, I have none of that in my house, nor will I permit it. But that's a topic for a whole nother
There
show.
we go.
All right, with
got
with
the
my
aluminum
secret
foil,
squirrel background. Hey, I don't
foil
need
on
the
your-
aluminum. I don't need. I know what's going on. But we have so much good stuff
Yes.
that's going on. I mean, you and I have been like busy bees these past 72 hours, rolling out all of this stuff,
You
all of this
saved
mad
me with
radio goodness.
And you saved me with YouTube, putting a YouTube page together, because I am totally freaking clueless. And thank God that we have that video chat where you can
Yeah,
see
we
what
can
the
show
hell
each other's
what buttons I'm pressing, or I would have been in somewhere in a Russian inclusion.
Yeah, John. Okay. So let's back up. So folks, all the mad radio goodness. Look, I know, like I said, our core group knows that it takes a lot to put the show together. You guys see the easy part. You guys see the mics. We have the guests in the studio. We got pieces of paper here that we're reading from. What you don't get to see is the board op. Thank you,
Yeah,
board
yes, thank
operator today. So it's behind the scenes. And so if you'd like to support the show, you can go on to our partner website, abadgeofhonor.com. That is the letter A, badgeofhonor.com. Click on Mad Radio, and there is a donate button. And you can go ahead.
Your PayPal information.
It's all secured through PayPal. Went through all the bells, whistles, hoops, and everything to make that happen. So if you'd like to support the show, just go ahead. Again, abadgeofhonor.com is the website. Click on Mad Radio, and you can make a donation. Every little bit counts, as
Yes.
John likes to say every week.
Yep.
It truly
does.
does
It does. We are
make a
self-funded.
difference, so we can continue to make a difference and bring you all the good stuff that we do each week. John was a master at setting up brand new YouTube page. How can people find us on the YouTube? And he already uploaded videos.
Yes,
folks.
yes.
So
And I have no
awesome.
idea how I did it, and I probably couldn't tell you how to get there. But no, yes, go to YouTube. Go to Mad Radio TX for Texas.
No, it's
yes.
Mad Radio Texas.
Mad.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
Mad
thinking of our email.
Oh, okay. Mad. See, I'm sending you in a different direction. Mad Radio Texas, and I'm going to keep uploading our shows to, in case you missed them, to that YouTube page. A Badge of Honor is also in 2021 going to be rolling out Healing Our Heroes Through Laughter.
Yes.
So be sure to check that out. We have a great bank of stand-up comics, because laughter is the best medicine when it comes to healing our mental health issues. So check that out. And we are going to, once this COVID thing is over, I can't wait to get back into our workshops, our PowerPoints, and really getting involved with some of our partners that we've met, like Help for Heroes, Our Watch, and so many more that we have to really do virtually now, and it's not a lot of fun. It's
just different.
It's different. It's just harder. It's harder.
There's that personal connection that we absolutely love with our workshops, because anybody can turn off the camera at any time on
Yeah.
Zoom. And that's what we want. I mean, all of everybody, Jeff and John Edmondson with Healing Springs, that's what we want. So, we might have to continue to pivot, make changes, but we will get the workshops back up and going. The comedy, healing through comedy, this is going to be so awesome.
Yes.
Because what is one of the top stress relievers, cure-alls for depression?
Laughter.
Hey, we didn't come up with that. Studies, lots of studies show.
That's
We're
right.
not scientists.
A lot of people smarter than us.
Exactly. So laughter does cure in so many different ways, and we can't forget about the 22nd of every month. So on the 22nd, which is a week from today,
Yes.
Bridge Walk.
Yes, which we will not be able to attend because we will be here in studio.
Well, we will be in the studio, but the Bridge Walk is still
going to go on. And with the Bridge Walk, please have everybody's health and take responsibility for everybody with social distancing and wearing masks. We have big news. It went to resolution. We will be naming the bridge. The bridge will be renamed Heroes Bridge for our veterans and our first responders. Senator Bob Hall, John Vick, and Chris Kazar were very
instrumental
in putting this whole resolution together. And it will go into Austin as soon as the session starts in January, and we will go down there and thank them.
Yeah.
But September 26th, when we have our Hands Across the Bridge, we will unveil the Heroes Bridge. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
So September 22nd is Walk the Bridge, and you can find out more at walkthebridge.org. And then September 26th
is going to be, we got Blue Help coming down. We have victims of the families of suicide, law enforcement, and veterans coming down. So it's going to be a big day, and we'll keep you updated on that. And to combine arms, we would invite you on, not this month because we're not going to be there and we wouldn't be able to show you around, but I will give you some time to get some people together. August 22nd, if you'd like to join us out on a bridge, we can give you all the information, and maybe you can speak to some of the veterans that walk the bridge with us, because we do have a lot of veterans that walk with us, and get your name out there.
Yeah, I'd love to. Send me that information.
That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Great.
Well, here goes another hour, my friend.
Wow, so quick. All right. Who do we got next week?
Oh, okay. So, folks, I know 99% you've been talking about defunding the police. If you guys want to know why we cannot defund the police, why training is important, you are going to want to tune in to next week's show. We have, I don't want to use his nickname, but we have James, who has been involved with several federal agencies.
Okay.
We'll just leave it at that.
All right.
But his key thing that he's done is all about training. And he is going to explain, based upon his experience, multiple agency experience, like 30 years worth, why we do not want to defund the police. That's
going to be an epic show for next week. I want to thank everybody tuning in. Alexa, thank you once again. Thank Combined Arms for our veterans. Check out, if you missed the show, you can do the replay on our Facebook page or check us out on YouTube, and check out Combined Arms. And until next week, stay blessed, stay healthy, stay socially responsible, and
stay safe.